Hey guys, welcome to Shawn Richard Save the Industry. I'm Shawn.
I'm Richard.
And today we're going to be talking about Fallout 76, the garbage fire that it is.
Oh yeah, it's pretty bad.
Where to start, really, with this game, if you want to call it that. I guess we can start off bare bones at the very skeleton of the game. It is running on a decade-old engine. Remember playing Skyrim? Remember that game?
Yeah.
You liked that game, right? Yeah.
I remember when it came out.
Yeah.
And the engine was good.
You remember it came out 4 times and the engine was alright? They're running on the same fucking engine.
Yeah, it is.
They're running this game that came out in 2018 on the same engine of the game that came out in 2009?
It's 2009, 2010.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Something around there. Like no, it was 2010, 2011. One of those.
No, it was 2011 because I was a senior in high school.
Yeah, and I was already in my first apartment. So yeah, it was 2011. So it's a 7-year-old engine, and they're running a brand new fucking game on it.
It's a 9-year-old engine. No, 7. No, you're
it's
right.
2018.
It's 2000. Yeah. I can't do math.
Apparently,
I can't do math.
I mean, even when the engine was new, it wasn't the best on the market. Like it's not like they made the Cry engine from Crysis 3. Crysis 3 fucking sucked, but the engine was amazing.
Yeah.
Like they're not running on they weren't running on the best they had to offer in 2011. They're running on passable 2011 technology, and there have been a plethora of games in like the past 2 years that are also open world games that run leaps and bounds better.
Oh
than,
yeah.
Than 76 runs.
Okay. I would argue that Breath of the Wild runs better than Fallout 76 does.
Fuck yeah, it does.
And that's a Nintendo game on a system that is way less powerful.
On a glorified phone.
Yeah.
It's a phone game, really, because the Switch is not that powerful.
It really isn't.
Galaxy Note 7 has the same computing processors. I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure.
Oh man.
But yeah, so I mean the faces were ugly in Skyrim.
Yeah,
they weren't as bad as Oblivion. Let's be fair. But
yeah, but Oblivion's also. God, when did Oblivion come out? 2004, 2001.
I was like a freshman in high school at the oldest, so.
Because Oblivion came out. Because Skyrim was something like 9-10 years after Oblivion.
Yeah, it was a long time, but it's just unacceptable. The level of like graphical errors and glitches that are running in this game that is brand fucking new.
Yeah, no.
You hit texture pop, not just in like scenery in the distance. The thing that console gamers have come to like expect in their games
and deal with.
You'll get texture pop for things that are directly in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
Like
right there.
Like PUBG level texture pop. Like.
Oh man, it's
where like a whole building's just not there. And oh, there it is.
Oh hey.
There's
I'm here now.
There's that building.
God. Oh, and then to top it all off, they're still having server issues.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're having server issues, and
their servers are really bad.
It's like, I want to set the preface for this series off on this note. Graphics don't make the game.
No, not at all.
Like, Divinity 2, Original Sin 2, the graphics of that game aren't that great.
No.
I mean, it's an isometric top-down game. They're not meant to be.
Yeah,
but that game,
cartoony.
That game is awesome.
Yeah.
So the graphics don't make a game good.
No, I mean,
but if you're gonna have
look at Minecraft.
If you're gonna have subpar graphics for the type of game that you're doing, have a good game. Have a game do what it's supposed to be doing. Like you can't have for an MMO especially these kind of server issues where the server doesn't even interact with the client.
Yeah.
Like if you don't know what that means, basically. The client is your computer's version of the game. The server is on like World of Warcraft would communicate with the server, the other people's clients, and your client. so that everything is operating in sync, and nothing that you're not seeing can affect your game. It's not 100%. It doesn't work all the time. But in 76, it doesn't work ever because it's not communicating with the client. So if you have a client editor open on your computer while you're running 76 on PC, and you are trying to get into this room to fight this guy, you can just delete that wall, go through it, put the wall back up, and the server will do nothing about that.
It won't even know that you got rid of the wall.
It will just know that you are now in this spot. That's all it knows.
And if they're trying to shoot you through that wall, since it doesn't know that you deleted that wall, the moment you step through that wall, before you even tell it to place it back, his client doesn't know that the wall's not there, so he's not able to shoot through it.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
And that leads to unfair advantages for people that are able to do those kinds of things. I mean, in this day and age, everyone should be at least that tech savvy, but not everyone is.
Yeah. And also, not everybody that can do it will do it.
Yeah, and people that want to actually play the game fairly won't do that. But there definitely will always be people that want to have that edge.
Yeah, in everything for whatever reason. Talk about something else. There's no NPCs in this game. There's no human NPCs. Some people have argued with me when I say that. Say that there are NPCs because there are robots and computers that you can talk to, but there's not really there's not really anyone to that many people to trade with, like in previous Fallout games.
The intention,
and there's definitely no character development.
Yeah, the intention was that players would fill the roles of NPCs for other players, like how the world works. Like everyone is the protagonist of their own story, and the other people in it, if you want to view it this way, fill the role of the NPCs if you want to view life as a game. But the thing is, in practice, no one wants to be a merchant in a video game.
No, that sounds pretty boring.
Yeah, like no one wants to be the guy that's just like moving from settlement to settlement and be like, hey, you wanna buy some of this scrap I picked up along the way?
Yeah, but also their argument is that you don't have to do that constantly. That's just something that you can do every now and again, and then you can go out adventuring.
But the benefit, one of the many, in a fully formed game, would be that you have like a hub world or hub spot on the map.
Yeah.
That has a decent amount of traders and stuff that you can fast travel to or make your way back to, depending on the way the game works, and just sell off your extra shit.
In Fallout 4, that's like Diamond City or
Whiterun for most people in Skyrim. Yeah. I haven't played far enough into Divinity to know what it would be for that. But every game has a place where either by design or just by player preference becomes like your spot where you go and sell off your extra stuff. When you make a game that is devoid of that, you've taken out a quintessential part of what we've come to expect as players.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it is by nature wrong, because challenging the media and challenging the status quo is a great part of what makes art move forward. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying it does not work in this game.
Yeah. Something that
especially with the low like carry weight.
It kind of feels lazy to me.
Yeah.
You know, it feels like the devs don't really have a good reason, and it's lazy. It makes the game end up feeling lonely as you're playing it by yourself. And the game doesn't feel alive.
It either feels lonely while you're playing it by yourself, or just as a fucking cakewalk if you're playing with a group.
Oh yeah, if you're playing it with a group, it's way too easy. There's no scaling of there's slight scaling of enemy difficulty, but
if you have a full party of people playing, yeah, it may take a longer amount of time to defeat a boss that's 15 levels higher than you, but you never really feel like you're in danger of losing.
Yeah, it's way too easy. And there's
even if you do feel in danger of losing, the only thing you drop on death is scrap.
Yeah. Like which is very important in the game because your weapons break and you use it to repair and stuff.
Yeah, but you keep all your weapons, you keep all of your armor, all your ammo. Like, if it's trying to be a survival game, it fails there as much as it fails at being an MMO. Because
Yeah.
the whole difficulty scaling of a survival game is how much am I willing to risk before I go back home.
Yeah. For when you're scavenging.
Like if you find a boss in like Rust or Ark, you'll probably be like, okay, this is where it's at. I'm going back home, putting all this shit in storage.
Yeah.
And then
I'm
coming back with my weapons and only risking my weapons.
Yeah. You know, I'm not risking all of this, you know, material for building things, you know, for, you know, doing whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Potentially currency in that game or whatever.
Yeah, depending on the game. Like Conan would have currency.
But another thing that happened, I was watching a gameplay demo, not a demo, but a gameplay by a YouTuber where he and his group found a rock on an island where a death claw spawned, and it was a very high level death claw, so they could get a ridiculous amount of experience from killing this death claw. And if they stood on this rock, the death claw didn't even notice that they were there.
Yeah.
So they could just sit there. They could just sit there and shoot it until it was dead.
Yeah, I've noticed
and
this
then they
too.
get XP.
Yeah,
just a ridiculous amount for
enemies
no risk.
The AI in the game is terrible. They have really bad pathfinding, like AI. So if you in any given battlefield, there's usually at least one spot you can find where the enemies don't know how to get to it.
Yeah,
because I mean it was bad in Fallout 4.
Yeah.
But it wasn't as bad as I've seen in people's gameplay for Fallout
really
76.
bad.
I mean, part of that comes through with how much time they spent on the landscape, because they did spend a lot more time on the scenery for this game because they knew that they had to. It's very huge. It's huge, and when the textures are loading, it's very pretty. But that's all it's got.
Yeah,
is size and scenic views.
And it's so large that, and it only allows, I feel like it's 10 people.
It's somewhere around there, somewhere around like a dozen or something like that.
Yeah, it's not that many people for considering how large the map is.
That is by design, not by capabilities. They wanted it to feel like a post-apocalyptic wasteland where you have less people to deal with. But again, that ties back to the loneliness, and that is.
But with
I'm
no
sure
NPCs.
at some point by design, because of the fact that you want it to feel lonely, it's a post-apocalyptic wasteland. But it's also still got to be a game.
Yeah.
It can't just be the experience.
Yeah.
There's got to be something fun about it.
Yeah, and it's incomplete as a single-player game. So if you're unable to run into people, if you're not experiencing other players, you're not, you know, you're losing out on a lot of the game. Because the game forces you to communicate because the map's so large.
Yeah.
You know? So you have to talk to other players and be like, hey, where'd you get that piece of gear? Hey, where'd you get that quest? You know, this, that, the other thing. And tell people where you found materials that they might need.
Yeah.
But there's the potential that you don't run into people, you know, for hours. I was watching another gameplay where he literally didn't run into anybody for 5 hours.
Yeah.
And he was looking for other people. So, I mean, it's just...
Which, I mean, for someone like myself who fucking hates PvP, I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Because all I ever really wanted, Bethesda, was be able to play these games with my friends, not any motherfucker who gets on the server. I said that up close, so I want you to fucking listen. I wanted co-op. I didn't want MMO fucking O.
Yeah.
Nobody fucking did.
Yeah, you didn't learn with ESO?
Yeah, we hated that game too.
Yeah, but it seems that a lot of people really like Fallout 76.
ESO was at least good at what it was trying to do.
Yeah.
Maybe not at launch, but eventually.
Yeah.
It's just not what I want in the game.
Yeah,
I will accept that for ESO. If you like ESO, you have every right to. Like
you have every right to like Fallout 76.
No, you don't. No, you don't. It's bad. I don't give a fuck. Hate me. It is a bad game.
You're allowed to like bad things. Just know that we disapprove.
But, and also like, what is the point? Like the Scorch Beast, like is like the main quest, destroying the Scorch Beast that's like always attacking your settlements. So it has like a direct effect on your game. But it's not like the Scorch Beast just goes away afterwards because it's an MMO.
Yeah.
Like, those events are still going to happen. It's not going to happen to your settlement.
Yeah, it's so, I mean, again, the world's not living.
Yeah.
So it kind of forces you to make your own fun, your own story, which is kind of lazy. There's no...
I mean, there is something to be said about games that allow you to do that, but when the game is forcing you to do it.
Yeah.
Is where the problem is.
There's no meaning. Like, I mean,
because
even...
like Skyrim allowed you to make your own story.
I mean,
like,
there's
there was the main quest, there's side quests, all that kind of stuff.
There's even a story in Minecraft.
Yeah.
Like...
There's a story, yeah, there's the Ender Dragon and all that stuff, and if you play it through it enough, you kind of understand the fucking...
Yeah, you can understand. There's even, oh god, I forget.
Hell, Dark Souls.
Yeah.
There is a definite story there.
Oh yeah,
but
you really have to look for it.
If you don't pay attention, you're making your own story. Like, why am I killing these bosses? Either you're just a guy who's like, I'm killing him because I want to kill him, or
you're playing the game. You're supposed to kill him.
Yeah, or you come up with your own stories for it. I remember in Dark Souls 1, when there wasn't as big of a forum like thing. I'm not going on this tangent for too long, but people had all these different fan theories about like who Sif was, this wolf that was guarding this grave. And it was so much fun to have that. So there's something to be said about making your own story, but it's better when it's allowed and not forced.
Yeah, but also with Dark Souls, there's a linear path through the game. It's not open world. I feel like if it was open world, it would be a little bit harder to do that.
To do what?
Build a story. Like, there's a linear... I mean, not necessarily, but...
I mean, to an extent. I mean, there are forking paths that you can go, like... Especially in Dark Souls 1. In Dark Souls 1, you can start the game off going through, like, the 6th area. Because you start off in the hub area, and you can go down to New Londo, over to the catacombs, or the way you're supposed to go to the Undead Burg. So it's linear-ish.
Yeah. But
it's definitely not open world. But... Anyways, we spent too much time on Dark Souls, but
yeah,
we'll talk about Dark Souls. I'm sure a bunch of times, but I love it. Another big problem that I have with this game, like a huge fucking problem, when you know me and you know what it is.
Oh, I know where this is going.
There are Brotherhood of Steel corpses on the map.
Yep.
In Fallout 76.
Yep.
That takes place in Virginia about 50 fucking years before the Brotherhood of Steel would ever even thought about going to fucking the East Coast. And then Pete Hines' dumbass said we can't be expected to hold on to something that someone wrote down 20 years ago. Yeah, you are, because you wrote it down. Maybe not you specifically, but the people that made this game 20 years ago wrote it down as lore.
Look at me.
Lore fucking matters.
Fucking Call of Duty sticks to their lore.
Yeah.
Okay?
Activision and Treyarch stick to their fucking lore.
And don't even get me started on that.
And they make FPSs that focus on multiplayer online fucking death matches. You don't even need lore for that.
There's not really even a campaign in the new one.
Yeah, like you get like 3 missions that are basically just tutorial. That's basically what FPS campaigns are now.
Yeah,
just tutorials for the multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what all the mechanics of the game are. They have cohesive lore that they stick to.
Yep.
The people that make that were for the longest time the front runners. Stop. The front runners for open world RPG, like lore heavy experiences, do not give a fuck about their own lore.
Yeah, it's
like, who the fuck are you, Bethesda? You used to be my favorite fucking developers. You used to be. Back in Morrowind, Oblivion, like even Skyrim, which I will still shit on as.
Oh yeah.
But like Morrowind and Oblivion were some of my first 2, like, RPG experiences, and they started my love for these types of games. And like, fucking, I think it was Oblivion. It was either Oblivion or Morrowind. Came with a little pocketbook that told you the history of all the different races, even the races that didn't even exist in the game. It was Oblivion.
It was Oblivion.
Yeah, like you learn about the Slode. It doesn't even appear in Oblivion. Like, clearly they cared about lore at some point.
Yeah.
Where did that go? Where did it go?
I don't know how to answer this. It's a cash. They're starting to be a cash grabby company.
Yeah, because
which is sad in my opinion. I mean, this whole game feels lazy. It feels like they kind of just threw something together, and released it trying to ride the
wave of Fallout 4, and then people have they even teased it at E3 like, oh, everybody's always wished they could play our games together.
Yeah.
Because let's be fair, ESO was made by ZeniMax, not by Elder Scrolls, Bethesda. So like it wasn't directly Bethesda that made that game. So this was their first foray into an MMO, and they shit the fucking bed.
Oh yeah.
This game scores worse than launch No Man's Sky.
Oh, a lot worse.
Yeah,
a lot.
Like
worse.
look it up on Metacritic. It is bad.
It is really bad.
And to tie this whole thing back around, nice little circle. So I'm sure everyone's heard about Starfield and the teaser for Elder Scrolls 6 at E3, and I'm sure everyone's, even with Fallout 76, still pretty excited about those games. Well, guess what?
They're gonna be on the same fucking engine. They're still using Creation Engine.
Yeah. We'll link it in the description the story that broke this, but Bethesda themselves confirmed that Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6 are going to be on the Creation Engine,
which is
the same engine that Skyrim was on, that Fallout 4 was on,
bunch of shit,
and Fallout 76 was on, which at that time will be 10 years old.
Yeah.
It will be a decade-old engine or older, and they're going to be making new games on it,
which is
unfucking acceptable.
Yeah, it's a slap in the face.
No one else would try that.
No.
Rockstar,
I don't know that
Rockstar
didn't buy that. Rockstar built an entire new engine for Red Dead 2.
Yeah. Like, I'm not saying to build a new engine for every fucking game.
No, but at least improve your engine.
It was fine that Skyrim and Fallout 4 were on the same engine, because you want to get your money's worth out of building a fucking engine.
Of course.
But at this point, it's time.
Yeah.
It is. It's been almost a decade. You've made a third game on it. Like, I was never gonna actually enjoy or buy 76 anyway. It was not made for me. So while I'm talking about this because people should know about it, it was gonna affect me.
Yeah.
But now is the time to shape up or ship out. Like, either I'm done with you forever, Bethesda, or you need to learn your fucking lesson.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna vote with my wallet, and I suggest that you should too.
Oh, definitely. Always vote with your wallet. We need to start showing gaming companies that they can't just keep shitting out games every few years, recycling
the same mechanics,
the
same story
engines,
points, the same
same
everything.
You can't just...
Everything's a copy of a copy of a copy.
You can't make a game just look different and be a reskinned game that you've already made.
Yeah. Things need to change, and that's why we're here. So, thanks for tuning in. This has been Shawn and Richard Save the Industry. Next week, we'll be talking about Red Dead. A good game.
Good game, yeah.
So, less negativity.
A little bit.
Tiny bit. And then we'll move from there. But thanks for tuning in. We'll see y'all next week. Same time, same place. We'll link Twitters and everything in the bio if y'all want to follow us on different social media. Anything to add?
No, just don't let companies get away with being shitheads.
Yeah. All right. Well, sign off.